A lot of the filters that emulate the traditional drawing techniques are found under the filter gallery. Now, a cautious note here, if your image is in 16-bit and you select the filter menu, filter gallery will be grayed out. It'll be inaccessible, and that's because in order to apply filter gallery, you have to convert your images to 8-bit. And you can do that using the image menu and then mode and then 8-bit. All right, to make this a non-destructive effect, I will select filter and then convert for smart filters. That converts my background into a smart object. I want to demonstrate two different techniques here, and there's a subtle difference between them. But the first technique, we're going to add a filter, and then I'm going to change the filter's blend mode. When you change the filter's blend mode, that changes the way the filter is applied to the layer. After that, we're going to apply a different filter to two different layers, and then use the Layers panel blend modes in order to get the two different layers to interact with one another. So on this first layer, I'll choose Filter, and then Filter Gallery. On the left side, we have a preview area. We can use the zoom controls down at the bottom, but the same keyboard shortcuts work in Filter Gallery as in Photoshop, so if I want to fit in screen, I can use Command 0. Then, on the right-hand side, we have a number of different filters, and they all have their own unique preview there. We're going to scroll down to the Sketch folder and apply Charcoal. Once I apply the filter, I have a number of different options for that filter and that are unique to that filter on the right-hand side. I'm going to decrease the charcoal thickness down to 1. I want a lot of detail, so I'll leave that at 5. And then we can adjust the light-dark balance until we get the results that we want. I'll leave it there and click OK. Now, I want the filter to be blended with the layer. In order to do this, I will double-click on the icon to the right of the filter gallery name. Double-clicking on that brings up the blending options and will determine how the filter is blended with the original content of the smart object. So let's change this to Soft Light. We now can see the color from the original image, and I'll change the opacity down a little. I'd actually like a little bit stronger effect with a little bit more contrast, so let's try Overlay. We could also try Multiply in order to darken it even more, but I prefer the contrast that we got in Overlay. All right, let's rename this layer to Charcoal. Tap Return or Enter in order to apply that. Now, on the Layers panel, let's make a duplicate of this by using Command J to duplicate it. I'm going to hide the charcoal layer by toggling the eye icon, and I'm going to rename this copy Graphic Pen. Now, before I go in and make edits, I need to make sure that I set the blend mode and opacity back to 0. So I'll double-click on the icon to the right of Filter Gallery. I'll change Overlay back to normal and set the opacity at 100% and click OK. Now, to change the filter, I'll double-click where it says Filter Gallery, use Command 0 in order to zoom out, and choose Graphic Pen. I want a long stroke length, so 15 is great. Then I can adjust the light-dark balance. I'm going to move it over to the left a bit. Now, I know that I can gain back the color from the original image, but I want to filter the original image with the color. So although I can add a secondary filter here by clicking on the new filter icon and then adding, for example, the artistic filters or the brush strokes like sprayed strokes, that is not giving me the effect that I want. And even if I click OK and I change the blend mode, it's going to change the blend mode after both of these filters are applied. So I'm going to click on the trash can icon to get rid of the sprayed strokes and click OK. Then duplicate this layer using Command J. I'm going to rename it Sprayed Strokes. And to change the filter, I'll double-click Filter Gallery, choose Brush Strokes, Sprayed Strokes. If I want to preview it, I can use Command 0. I want to adjust the stroke length and the spray radius. Then I'll click OK. And now to have this filter and the Graphic Pen filter interact with one another, I'll reposition the Graphic Pen layer above the sprayed strokes and change the blend mode to multiply. I think that's a little bit too harsh. Let's try screen. I really like that effect, but let's also try overlay. I think that's a bit much, so I'm going to return back to screen. So you can see there's a difference between adding a filter to a layer and then changing the blend mode for the filter as opposed to applying multiple filters to multiple layers and then using the layers blend mode in order to blend those layers together.